Hey, what's up guys? Rev here. So today we're going to go over a diverse set of topics, but they're all very important. And to cover these topics, I'm also going to include some hot takes, so you don't want to miss those. But let's get right into it. The first set of news is pretty big. So yesterday, Elon Musk announced that starting April 15th, only verified accounts will be eligible to be in the For You recommendations. And this is really, as Elon claims, the only way he can address advanced AI bot swarms that are taking over, and that voting polls will require this verification for the same reason. So, in case you don't know, Twitter Blue subscription is something that Elon has been pushing extremely hard in an attempt to get a return on his $44 billion investment into Twitter. So Twitter Blue began as a complete joke. It was basically just a status symbol, and then it became something that had some useful tools like an edit button, and then it became something that creators could make money from through their ad sharing program, and then it became an essential tool for your security by only allowing you to use two-factor authentication through the Twitter without having to go to a second-party app. And now it's becoming clear that if you don't have a Twitter Blue subscription, you pretty much can't do any sort of real growth on Twitter, which for a content creator, that's a pretty big deal. You're pretty much put in a corner and you have to purchase Twitter Blue, whether it's $8 or $15. Even a person like me, who tweets like once or twice a week, I feel enough pressure to just fork over the money for Twitter Blue. I feel like there's no other real option, because if I want to make a serious post or promote one of my sponsors or promote a video or just really even have a fun shit post, you feel like you have to do this in order to get any sort of traction. Being outside of the For You recommendations is quite literally being outside of the algorithm. It's like YouTube. You'll pretty much lose everyone who's not already following you. And there's no way you can grow. Your posts will flop. And currently, there's myths out there that being a Twitter Blue subscriber helps your reach. I don't think that's exactly true. I've seen a lot of people compare their statistics and reach before and after getting Twitter Blue, and it doesn't seem like it makes that much of a difference. I have noticed a difference in my own reach ever since Elon took over. It seems like they have kind of unshelled some of the obstacles and ways of the algorithm, and more people get kind of pushed out. But yeah, after this change, you pretty much will only grow on Twitter if you're a Twitter Blue subscriber. So this is just one of many chaotic changes. You can see the number of quote retweets. People are not very happy about this. They feel like they're being put in a corner, and Elon Musk is trying everything he can to make people pay for this subscription service. And Twitter has been wild over the past couple weeks. The site has been chaotic. One of the things they changed is very strange. It's kind of hard to describe if you're not a Twitter user, but basically your timeline, all of the things you see on Twitter, normally it has to have some sort of a connection to you and your preferences. Meaning, the only way you're going to see certain tweets is if you're following the person who made the tweet, or someone you're following liked a certain tweet or replied to it. That's how it ends up on your timeline. Elon recently has stripped all of that. Like, tweets with no connection or no bearing to you whatsoever are popping up on your timeline, and it's very strange. Like, I am getting the weirdest tweets that have nothing to do with who I'm following or my interests, and they're just constantly showing up. Half of my tweets I see on my timeline have nothing to do with me. And besides getting some like disturbing like gore videos and things like that, and constant fight videos and things like that, we're also seeing a whole host of glitches. Like, I see blocked accounts on my timeline all the time. Like, people who have me blocked, their tweets are showing up on my timeline, and I can see their tweets. If I click on their account, I'm still blocked. So I'm getting inundated with a whole host of VTweeters and other VTubers who have me blocked, and I have to see their garbage tweets every single day, even though they have me blocked. Like, it's a lose-lose. I don't want to see their tweets, and they don't want me seeing their tweets. But it just goes to show you there's a lot of chaos going on Twitter right now, and a lot of people right now, I can see that Tumblr is trending. A lot of people are starting to, once again, search for alternatives, and Tumblr is one of them. Well, first of all, anyone who was on Tumblr and was a refugee on Twitter, I wholeheartedly say go back to Tumblr, but really that's not going to go anywhere with their current policies. They have not, in any sort of a significant way, lightened up their ban on not safe for work content. There's absolutely no comparison between what's allowed on Twitter versus Tumblr, and that's Tumblr's fault. They did that to themselves. They shot themselves in the foot with all of that campaign. And also, some people are pointing to 4chan, which is pretty funny, and a lot of people go, oh man, 4chan is evil. It's the worst. It's so bad. Dude, Twitter is like equal these days. I am telling you, the foul stuff you see on Twitter, it's what you'll expect from 4chan. Maybe 4chan's a little worse, but I mean, just today, I'm looking at people celebrating a school shooting and saying it was a good thing and getting like 1,000 likes on their tweet. Like, this is a pretty dirty, grimy, disgusting platform, okay? Like, 4chan isn't that much worse. But it just goes to show you a lot of people have strong feelings about this change. And at the end of the day, I think it's going to hurt the experience overall. And I still feel like, though, having that in mind, people are still going to stay on Twitter. People just don't know where else to go. And there's no serious competitor that has the sort of layout that Twitter has that is the reason why it's so successful. But that is the update with that. And pretty much, if you want any sort of a real presence on Twitter, you're going to have to get Twitter Blue, it sounds like. And yeah, pretty unfortunate, pretty scummy. But also, Elon knows that there's pretty much nowhere else to go. So deal with it. And people on Twitter just aren't going to leave. So his message is probably just deal with it. But we're moving on to a completely different subject. This one is a crazy story. This involves a cosplayer who was unfortunately found in the grasp of this person right here. It is a pretty disturbing thing. In case you can't tell what they did, this is the real photo of the cosplayer, and they whitewashed this woman. They whitewashed her, meaning they applied a lighter filter to her skin. Now, I think anytime you're dealing with white or black washing in of fictional characters, that's already controversial enough. But when we're talking about real life human beings, this is insane. This is an insane behavior. It's racist. It's weird. It's completely unnecessary. And to call this like a comfy edit, bro, like, please, come on. And here's, hot take number one of this video. I genuinely do not care about the color of a cosplayer. I don't care what skin tone you have. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's that deep. And for every person who's upset about a dark-skinned person cosplaying a light-skinned character, you don't see that same energy directed at a white person cosplaying an anime character that's supposed to be Japanese. They don't apply those same standards like that. It's just some petty racism, and it's wrong. And you have a person like this openly doing it, and you can see it kind of backfired. So the cosplayer is named Lazy Lolly, which 10 out of 10 name, and I'll put a link to her account in the description if you want to check her out. But she did something that I think is a very smart move. It's blocked, unfortunately, in the screenshot because this post has had the media removed, rightfully. And what she did is see a hate post that's obviously very negative and post links to her account saying, hey, check me out while I'm here. That's probably the best way you can respond to crazy posts like this, is to use it to your advantage to gain support. And unfortunately, this person did not like the fact that they were gaining support while they were trying to make this gross edit of their photos. And here's just an idea of how entitled and insane this person is. I don't know if they're a troll. I really don't. But at the end of the day, their actions are still bad, whether they're trolling or they're dead serious. And they say here that they had to block Lazy Lolly because they kept advertising under their post when they told them to stop. Imagine the audacity of making a whitewashed edit of a real person and then getting mad at them when they're promoting their accounts under your edit. That is crazy. But yeah, they're still going. And again, whether this person's a troll or not, they're taking other people's artwork and whitewashing it and doing all of this crazy stuff. And besides taking art, which is just wrong for these sorts of purposes, the comfy edits and the fixed it for you type attitude attached to it, this is clearly against TOS, and they're going to continue doing this to people, and they've proven it. They've done it to multiple posts ever since they did it to Lazy Lolly, and they clearly aren't going to stop. And it's important to bring attention to stuff like this because it's just gross. it's just gross behavior. But we're going to do another shift, a big shift in our attention here. I got some crazy developments. The documentaries on Chris Chan never end. Chris Chan, he has been released from jail, out on bond. He has been bonded out. He is out in the public. Now, of course, hot take number 2, I guess. This is something I thought a lot about. I've talked about Chris Chan a lot, and normally I would just try to respect their pronouns because they present themselves as trans. It is a very complicated thing, and 99.99% of the time I'm going to respect someone's pronouns even if I don't like them, okay? But here's my hot take. Chris Chan does not deserve that. Besides, being accused of R-wording your own dementia-ridden mother, Chris Chan it's been well documented that the reason that he transitioned was solely for the purpose of hooking up with women, to gain their trust by presenting themselves as a woman and then using that to have sexual contact with them. That was the whole goal, the whole purpose. There's nothing to do with identity. It's a opportunity to get to women and to prey on them. So that doesn't deserve respect. I don't think anyone really thinks that's deserving of respect. But that is just my opinion. It's something I've thought about a lot as I've covered Chris Chan over time. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I think that's where most people are at in terms of how they want to address Chris Chan. So they got bonded out, which means they are no longer in this facility. And they are walking amongst everyone else in society. And it is a very strange thing. And I don't quite understand where this is going to go next. And I think it's a very important development. This story has been going on for about 2 years now since he was initially arrested. And again, let's not forget, besides the whole circus aspect of this, that he is accused of doing pretty much the unimaginable. And it's not the first crazy thing Chris Chan has done, by the way. There's plenty of other things that he has done that has been criminal and just downright disturbing. But you can check out Gino, for example. You can check out his 60-part documentary that's ongoing about Chris Chan. So if you want those details, feel free to check out, because Chris Chan might be the most documented living human being that exists on the planet currently. So we're going to move on to the next story. This time we're talking about TikTok. So in the United States, the House of Representatives have been considering legislature that will ban the app TikTok in the United States. This is something that has happened before, but it fell through last time a few years ago, and it has been brought back. Now, I bring this up to give you guys kind of the real take here. So one of the big pushes to ban TikTok in the US is spyware concerns, privacy concerns, that TikTok is taking your data and using it for malicious reasons. So, newsflash, this is happening with every app around the world. Now, the problem is the House of Representatives is filled with a bunch of politicians who are absolute boomers. All of the footage I have seen involving this whole push to ban TikTok has been so cringe-inducingly embarrassing that I don't even know what to say. It's clear that these 60, 70, 80-year-old old people don't understand how TikTok works. They don't understand how social media works. They have absolutely no idea. I don't even think they even remember what they had for breakfast that day. They're out of it. And that's a whole separate issue that we can't get into during this video. But they're pretty much given a very easy case to argue. And they just don't really know how to make it. And also, they don't want to say the obvious. The reason why, it's not just that TikTok is taking your data. That happens with every company that has any sort of presence, whether it's Google or whatever, right? The reason people are concerned is because TikTok is a Chinese company, and there's fears that the Chinese government will take this information, this private information from Americans, and use it for nefarious purposes. That is the honest way of viewing this whole situation. It's really what they're trying to say, but they're afraid to say it. Now, here's what they're not afraid to say, and this happens a lot with different legislature that tries to ban something. Basically, the legislatures try to insert extra things into their bill. So in this case, they are banning TikTok for X, Y, and Z, but they're also including a whole host of other things that the government will be enabled to do based on what they're trying to pass. And this is an ongoing thing, and I don't want to give like the full 100% stamp on what they're doing here, but from what it appears, there is a whole host of new privacy concerns that are resulting from that same bill that is banning TikTok. They're using it as an opportunity to gain more access to what you're doing and to surveil what the average American is doing, and it is a big risk for the average person. And they're trying to be coy about this, and people are starting to catch on. And we'll talk about that more, but just really wanted to highlight the absolute lunacy of this whole thing. Like, I'm not a big TikTok supporter, okay? I probably wouldn't change my life at all if it was banned in the US, but the fact that the people who are in charge of deciding this are so out of touch concerns me, not just for this individual case, but any other issue that comes before them, because they clearly don't understand anything to do with technology. So we're going to move on to a final story, speaking of technology. I can't play this in the background because it has a lot of copyrighted music, but basically this individual, a lot of people are talking about this clip. I mean, almost 28 million views, lots of likes and quote retweets. Basically what this guy did is he recorded a verse and he used a model trained to capture the voice of Kanye, and he replaced his voice with these AI generated overlays of Kanye. So basically he does his verse, you hear how he says it, and then he puts it through the program and it comes out and it sounds exactly like Kanye. It's very strange. Like the use of voice generated AI is becoming more and more popular, and we're starting to see just how far this can go. And honestly, this stuff is super weird. It is super weird. And I don't know how this stuff is going to be managed. And again, when I see people like the legislators dealing with TikTok, I have no idea how they're going to wrap their heads around something like this, when even younger people and people a lot smarter than me have no idea how to deal with it. So yeah, I thought this was important to point out. A lot of people have been freaking out about this clip and related ones as well. But yeah, whole lot of hot takes in today's video. That was kind of what I prepared you for, but I thought these were all very interesting to talk about, and we got some other big topics on the way in the coming days. So once again, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know all of your thoughts about these related subjects in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.